Okay guys, so welcome back to the channel. We have Matty Boy's built, assembled, final driver.
This is it?
Yep, final build spec, but not final setup spec.
No, so we spent some time, we chose the head. We chose the loft on the head, being a 10. We definitely chose the shaft, but we actually never played around with any of the Hosel settings, and we never played around with this back plate.
Not to finalize things. No. One of the things with our Unifit connector system is it has slightly different adjustability than the SureFit sleeve. So for you in this session, we're going to just play with that lie a little bit, separate it independently from the loft. One of the things I love about that SureFit sleeve is the ability to tilt the head up and down and adjust the loft independently. So we've got this absolutely neutral.
Yeah, just 10 degrees square, weight in the middle. Basically, we'll start by kind of picking up where we left off. We'll see the flight. I think I've been working on my swing a little bit, so I think some of these settings may come in handy. I'm more neutral than I was a couple weeks ago, so less in to out and a little bit less up, which is good. I'm happy with that. So I'll just basically be looking to see if this is still okay in this configuration, or if maybe we play around with it. Yeah,
and you've been enjoying the little extra loft, so it will be, yeah, as you say, it will be interesting to see what we get. The TSi gives you different launch conditions than, say, a sim driver. The sim launch is very high with low spin for you. This is not quite. This is a little lower launch, a fraction more spin, but we like that for you.
It's good for me, especially on the course. I'm hitting more fairways with that type of flight. The high launch and low spin flight is a lot of fun in here, and it's fun like on the range, but in terms of actually hitting fairways, I would rather, as you say, launch it a slight bit lower, and spin it a slight bit higher. Lose a couple yards, but pick up the accuracy.
Definitely. Okay, let's hit a few with it. So the build specs, Matty Boy, 45 inches built length. We have tipped it 1.25 inches in installation. Just to take it, stiffen up just a little bit for you. We want to, we know we want to just really tighten that dispersion. So
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's get baselines with that, and then we'll start working with some settings.
Sounds good. Okay, Matty Boy, interesting sort of flight with that. A little bit more of a left miss, which we don't hate, to be honest.
I like it. Yeah, it's nice. I've got a very anti-hook setup for sure. And what I like about it more than the fact that it's anti-hook is I seem to be able to actually hit a bit of a fade with it, which is nice. I think because I have better control over my path now, the ball, if anything, is missing a bit left. So we probably have room to bring it back to center.
Well, let's just see if we can tighten that up a little bit. Let's see if we can play with this. I want to play with the weight cartridge in the back a touch, see if we can influence the curvature just a touch. So we're going to move that into H2 position into the heel. I want to make a little modification to the loft as well. Just see if we can kind of get that ball flight coming out just that hair flatter. Now, what will be interesting will be see how the face angle and how the sort of the independence of that weight cartridge move together. So if we bring the loft down, does that help, or does rotating the face around?
Good point.
To square help?
So we'll start. You're basically starting by doing both.
Exactly.
To make the most extreme reaction, then we can go from there.
Okay.
That's the best of the bunch by far. That's one of the more solid ones I've hit.
We stayed pretty tight around the settings that we were using there. We were anywhere from sort of neutral lie angle matty, standard loft. We brought it down in loft to 9.25.
Right.
Kept it there as we were in H1 and H2. H1 closer to the middle but slightly heely, just to get that toe strike, that marginal toe strike to turn back a little bit. That was the most stable setting for us.
And it felt a lot better. I think the center location wasn't helping me square the face back up.
Yeah.
The full heel position, to be honest, the strike didn't feel super solid.
Solid, yeah.
Away from it. H1, I think, was the best of both. The
Right.
strike felt good, and also the directional control. It just started more online. It wasn't pushing.
And that's something that you guys can tinker with as well, you know, is just trying the weight in different positions and see how the contact feels. Anytime you feel the club twisting in your hands, that's basically an off-center strike, torquing the club head, therefore torquing the grip in your hands. So what Matt was feeling with that when we got it in that H1, so just one click over from center, was just the alignment of the strike and the weight position to give you the kind of maximum energy transfer.
H1 definitely was the right setting for there. And I think the loft, it wasn't like, when you lowered the loft, it wasn't like it was wrong. I think some of the longest and best drives were like that. It just seemed to be, I can't miss that one quite as much as I can when you left it at 10. When it's at 10, even if I high strike it and even start getting the ball to curve right, it just curved a lot less.
Your default, as we know, is just that handle just pulling slightly forward.
Yes.
Anytime that dynamic loft gets kind of under 13, we know we're kind of fighting the delivery a little bit on those days. So keeping it in the kind of 15 to 17 range is more appropriate.
Yeah, I'm very, very comfortable with this. I think this is definitely the best version of this. It's not like you had to do a whole lot. I mean, the irony is, in the end, you really just moved the weight over.
That's right.
Now, we tested different Hosel settings, but it ended up being probably best in the standard B4.
And you know, for guys, those of you who are thinking about a retrofit, a club that you already own and you want to go in and see what it's capable of, this is kind of more probably like the process for that.
And tremendous value in that. I mean, I've moved the dispersion from quite a wide circle to something very narrow. And by the end of it was as good as I've basically hit drives on the range.
Why don't we take it to the course?
Yeah, so let's hit a few on the course, just see what it does in a real type situation, simulated but real situation.
Yeah, let's challenge you slightly differently. Psychologically, you've got a target, you've got a shape in mind, everything's kind of out in front of you, and see how the driver performs then. Of all the courses that we had access to, this was the first one that sprung to mind for me. Really tough tee shot. demands a very, very accurate drive. Let's do a kind of little flyby here. So we're going to see everything's level from the tee out to about 280 yards. At about 280, we're going to fall off that shelf. You really need to drive it straight. In actual fact, Matty, when they're playing the tournament, most guys won't even hit driver down there. We're going to hit some driver and have some fun with it because we're feeling pretty good about how straight you're hitting this thing.
Still be happy with it. It's going to end up in the rough. What a hard fairway that is to hit. You're not wrong. That should stay in. Maybe. I disagree with the speed of these downhill fairways, but otherwise, very pleased. Should be good. Get down there. Stay in the fairway too. Give us a bonus. Okay. I tip my cap on that one. That's as good as I can do.
All right, pretty impressive stuff.
It was, to be honest with you, even a little bit better on the course, wasn't it? Like the course simulation we just did, I feel like I actually hit a few better drives than I did on the range.
On the range?
Yeah.
That is interesting. Anytime you can transfer the comfort level from the range to the first tee, to any tee, but to the golf course, that's a great sign of how that driver is. And like you said there, you felt like actually you maybe had a slightly better performance with it there.
Yes.
You had grown in confidence. Your speed was up a little bit.
And that was the thing. At the end there, you'll notice, obviously, I hit 2 or 3 drives as hard as I could because to me, I'm not actually going to swing like that all the time.
Yeah.
But it's the true test. If you can go to a hole that has a lot of trouble, is narrow and demanding, and you can swing very hard, that to me gives me more confidence that the driver is performing well because I still hit shots that I was happy with.
Definitely. It is a very anti-right driver for you. That's a great sign. Bodes well for next season.
What I liked most is the only time I seemed to hit any shot that went right at all and or was kind of hooking a little bit, which was pretty rare, is all due to strike. So for me, I'm thinking this driver with a center strike, there's very little that can go wrong. I just need to work on my ball striking a bit.
Yeah.
My strike pattern, if it gets a bit better, I think the dispersion will stay like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's plenty ball speed off that head.
Tons.
You've got the loft where you need it now, so you kind of need a hot head so you can have the loft.
I agree. I need to be able to go out and spin most of my drives on the course at like 24, 2500.
Yeah.
If I catch it a bit high in the head and it goes 10 yards further, great. Like it's a bonus. But
lose a little ball speed, but gain in the launch conditions.
I can live with that. But I think living with it the way you have it right now, I think I will shoot the lowest score with the way it's set up. Maybe not the longest drive in the world, but it will be the best combination of both.
Well, it'll be interesting once we roll around to the start of next season. We have the new TaylorMade, Callaway, Ping, Cobra, Mizuno, whoever else is in the mix at the time, Strixon. Yeah, we're excited for that one. Okay, guys, Matty's driver is in the bag. It's sorted, it's specced out. We know the length 45. We know the swing weight D3.5. We've got the Golf Pride Align, the +4 Align, 1 wrap of tape.
Very nice.
We know his final specs. So that's going to be the driver to beat for you as we come into 2021.
Excited.
Lots of good stuff coming. Lots and lots to get excited about, guys. So this we consider to be a 2021 product. I know some people go, well, it was released in 2020. That's not really how we think about TSi. We think about this, it was a late season sort of addition. So this is part of the new lineup for the new season.
It is. To give you a reference, I've never even hit this outside yet. So the season was over and it came out. That means it's a 2021 driver.
There you go. You heard it here first. Stay tuned, guys. We'll see you again soon.